The 80s, neon lights, bold fashion and music we still dance to after a couple of cocktails. The box office is ruled by Star Wars, Indiana Jones and other blockbusters that prove audiences are hungry for thrilling adventures. But we're still a long way from the widespread use of computer graphics to create stunning effects. At this time, a young director named Robert Zemeckis and screenwriter Bob Gale are working on a movie about time travel. The first draft of the script was finished back in 1981, but all the studios turned it down. Only 3 years later, after Zemeckis released Romancing the Stone, did he gain enough clout in the industry for the project to get the green light. That is how the Back to the Future trilogy was born, the story of an ordinary guy, Marty McFly, and his eccentric scientist friend, Emmett Brown, traveling through time a DeLorean color. We see America in the 50s, the future of 2015, an alternate present and even the Wild West, all with minimal computer-generated imagery. As was so often the case for filmmakers of the past, skillful hands, creativity and practical effects came to the rescue. In this video we'll take our journey back in time to the set of the trilogy to uncover the tricks that helped create some of the most entertaining and life-affirming movies in cinema history. Let me remind you, we've already talked about special effects in the original Star Wars trilogy and other films. You can find the links to those episodes in the description, but for now, let's head back to the past. The symbol of the trilogy and in essence its third main character is of course the DeLorean car. Let's admit it, not the most obvious choice for a time machine, but its angular futurism and endearing awkwardness are a perfect fit for Doc Brown and Marty McFly. The special effects team had to make this car race at breakneck speed, take off and vanish in a flash of light, and all of this had to look convincing. Let's start with the flight. How do you get a car to fly? They used two methods. First, a crane was used to lift a real DeLorean into the air. This approach was best for shots that didn't require long or fast flights, but where maximum realism was important. The second method involved using models. With models, they could film cool turns at high speed aerial shots, which became especially relevant starting in the second film. Artists created several DeLorean replicas in different scales. The models were attached to a complex system of drives that allowed remote control over the car's movement, tilting and rotation, creating the illusion of real flight. To keep the models from looking like toys, they added lots of details. Every rivet, door handle and even artificial dirt and scuff marks were carefully crafted. But the main effect, of course, was the DeLorean's disappearance. For this they used a combination of techniques. First, practical effects on set. The pyrotechnics team would trigger a chain of explosions and fire to create that famous burning trail. This is where special effects supervisor Kevin Pike deserves a mention. He was in charge of the practical effects during the shooting of the first film. The live action footage of the DeLorean and the flaming the tire tracks were then processed for an optical printer. They added extra layers of film with additional effects, enhancing the flash and glow, and combined all of these elements into a single shot. One of the most memorable scenes is at the school dance, when Marty himself begins to disappear because his parents' relationship in the past is in jeopardy. In the shot, his hand becomes more and more transparent. The effect was achieved in several stages. They filmed a clean background and a separate take with Michael J. Fox, then frame by frame processed the hand and used an optical printer to gradually dissolve it into the live action scene. As a result, even today the effect looks pretty good, and for its time it was truly a marvel. As the trilogy grew and the creator's ambition increased, the team kept coming with the new ways to full reality. Back for the Future Part 2 and Back for the Future Part 3 built on the achievements of the first film. The effects for these movies were created by Industrial Light and Magic, a company founded by George Lucas in 1975, which in just 10 years had already worked on the Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises, among others. The effects on the second and third installments were supervised by Ken Ralston and Michael Lantieri. So, what did they come up with? Take the hoverboards from part 2, for example. How do you make them float? Most of the work was again done with practical effects. In most shots, mechanical supports and wires were used. The actors were strapped into a special rigid rig that was attached to a system along which the board could move. This rig was carefully designed so it could be removed in post-production, sometimes with additional frame-by-frame touches by hand. And how did they create the alternate 1985, ruled by the tyrant Beef Tannen? By the way, there's a real-life prototype for this version of Beef. To create this world, the team used an entire arsenal of techniques. The grim atmosphere was achieved with practical set design, tons of trash were hauled onto the set, neon signs were installed and graffiti was painted everywhere, but the most impressive effect was the composite shots for the casino building. They filmed an actual building on film, then artists painted massive tower extensions using matte painting, a technique where glass is painted over a filmed frame, which we already discussed in our video about Star Wars. The painted image was perfectly aligned with the real footage, creating the illusion of a gigantic, hideous structure towering over the city. And of course we shouldn't overlook the makeup. Tom Wilson may not be Christian Bale, but he underwent quite a transformation in the second film to play Old Beef. Wilson was fitted with a complex foam latex prosthetic that changed the shape of his face, a sagging double chin, drooping cheeks, eye bags, in short all the same reasons I'm not appearing on camera myself. Applying the makeup took about 3 hours each day. The trilogy's final note is the train that accelerates the DeLorean to 88 miles per hour. For the climactic off-the-rail scene, they built a huge locomotive model at 1:8 scale. The train was blown up using pyrotechnics and dropped into a gorge. The process filmed with a high-speed camera to make the moment feel larger and more dramatic. Again, a nod to the explosion techniques in Star Wars, it's the same method. Of course, we love Back to the Future not just for its effects. The films have everything, from captivating performances to a brilliant story that's thrilling, funny and touching all at once. And it's a timeless greeting from an era when, to show a miracle, you first had to create it with your own hands. Let us know in the comments which special effects from the Back to the Future series comes to your mind first, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us keep uncovering the secrets behind your favorite movies. See you in the future!